So, at the start of the season, start of the 2016-17 season, I said, boy, I tell you, these Coyotes, how about them? They're going to make the playoffs. And, wow. I was trying to hit a home run. I thought, there's going to be a team that comes out of nowhere. And, with a young GM and experienced coach and a bunch of new guys coming in, and who knows what Dylan Strome's going to do. Got set back to junior. They seemed to me like a pick for a team that was going to move up. And I'm tempted to do it again here. Of course, I'm not projecting standings with this video series. I'm just saying, hey, here's what I think in terms of lineup changes, roster moves, kind of things. So, again, going through with cap friendly, returning roster. Up front is McGinn, Reeder, Richardson, Krause, Domi, Perlini, Dvorak, and likely in the lineup from opening faceoff next season, Dylan Strome and Clayton Keller. Now, I don't need anybody to tell me how great Keller is. Keller's name's everywhere. There's highlights of him everywhere. He could be the catalyst behind a rapid resurgence of the Coyotes into the playoff stratosphere, for lack of a less cumbersome way of saying it. I also have down here as guys who are restricted free agents, could come back. Duclair, I know he had a bad year, but he's young. Juris, you always need a bottom six guy like a Josh Juris. And Martinuk, who's only 24. And I've got Fisher on the list of, you never know. I mean, he's a rookie, so you just never know. And then Verbata. Verbata had a big year. He didn't go anywhere at the deadline. I think if Radim Verbata is going to stay in the NHL, I think he signs another 1 or 2 year deal with Arizona. I don't think he goes anywhere. And I could see Hansel coming back to Arizona as well. Which, if you're an Arizona fan, has to be kind of a mixed blessing. Like, seeing guys come back, it's great to see you're allied to the team, but you want to see the team improve. And there's a question of whether or not that's going to happen. Now, on the blue line, they've got Ekman Larson, Goligoski, Connor Murphy, Shen, Connaughton, Chikrin, and D'Angelo. And D'Angelo, if he can get some of his act straight. In net, technically Demang is back next year as the backup for Mike Smith. I don't see any way that Demang is the backup next year unless the guy that they bring in as their backup gets hurt. Because I think Demang played himself out of the initial conversation to play for Arizona next season. Now, Zona has the number 8 pick. It's highly unlikely in a draft like this year that the number 8 pick's going to find itself inserted into this picture. But if there isn't a player Arizona likes at the number 8 pick, you could see a contending team willing to move that salary to Arizona. They have $25.8 million in cap space going into next year, and that's just with $73 million as the cap. If it goes up to $75 or $76 million, they're in a good spot. Now, I understand that the NHL's ran them, and they don't make any money, and the idea of making them a cap team is crazy. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about spending an extra $5 or $6 million, invest in a couple players to put in this lineup. The right backup goaltender would make a big difference. And I would argue that if you added a top 4 defenseman, you could potentially help the forwards if it's a puck-moving top 4 defenseman, which you may find available this year via free agency after the expansion draft. Maybe during the entry draft. You just, there's numerous ways that a team might acquire help on the blue line this coming summer. Arizona's going to be young. Going to be very inexperienced. And there's ifs on this. Like, there's no guarantee that Brad Richardson's in the starting lineup next year. No guarantee he's not moved somewhere else. If he's 100% physically recovered from his grievous leg injury, he could get moved out. Somebody will take him. I wouldn't mind seeing him on any of the teams I cheer for. Always liked Richardson. But it's tricky because while I see a young, talented team here, I don't see that veteran take him over the top. Now, people are going to ask, well, where's Shane Doan? Shane Doan didn't have a very good offensive season this year, and Shane Doan is clearly slowing down. They need somebody, and it's not Shane Doan. Doan has been a warrior for this team for a very, very long time. 20 years is a long time of playing hockey. And he deserves a number retirement in Arizona, that goes without saying. And all of the refinements that you get from being a revered legend locally. But his time on the ice is likely done. What Arizona does from here is going to decide whether they're closer to being one of those bounce back teams, or if they're going to be mired for another 2 to 3 years in the muck at the bottom of the league. And being mired at the bottom of the league doesn't necessarily mean you get a good draft spot. Everybody in Vancouver lost their mind. Everybody in Colorado lost their mind. Arizona wasn't happy with the draft rank or draft lottery either. So it wasn't exactly a happy day for anybody in Arizona when they saw the number 8 pick belongs to the Coyotes. Because, you know, they needed that top draft pick. They needed a Nolan Patrick on this lineup, a Nico Hischier. Either or. That would fix a lot of what's going on with this team. And you put one of those guys in a young forward group with Keller and Domi and Strome, and you might really be starting something. I'm not sold on Krause. I wasn't sold on Krause at the time that Florida traded him. I'm not sold on him now. I watched him play this year. To me, he's bottom 6. I don't see the potential there. I know there's going to be Arizona fans that disagree with me. Go right on ahead. But for me, that where Arizona needs help is they need a top 4 guy who's got a lot of experience. And I know Goligoski has experience, but I'm almost thinking like a Dion Phaneuf type. You know, somebody who's going to really enjoy playing where there's no pressure. Maybe has a big contract, but there's a lot of cap space in Phoenix, in Arizona, so it doesn't matter. But that kind of contract. So you guys can let me know in the comment section below. Who do they bring in? Who do you think they bring in? I can't see Louis Domingue being on their roster. I wouldn't even be surprised if Mike Smith's their backup at the start of the year next year, if they can bring in the right guy. And of course, Carolina hit the home run with Scott Darling, and we'll see how that works out for them. But I have a funny feeling it's going to work out pretty well. So you guys can let me know how you think things are going to work out going into the off season. And then the beauty of these videos is after the draft and after free agency, you can come back and crow a little bit about your comment on here. Don't edit it though, because that just makes you a terrible person. Just, you know, you can crow about your comments and you're going, I kind of saw that coming. And I'm not even trying that because there's so many moving parts with expansion, the entry draft, free agency. There's so many potential moving parts. And for a team like Arizona that's cash strapped and they're going to be looking for the lower, the better value option. Put it that way, better value option. It's going to be tough for them to move up. Do I think it's possible? Absolutely. Look how many teams moved up this year. But it's not easy. So let me know what you guys think. Who do you think's going to go? If you're a Coyotes fan, go ahead. Let me know. Just have a seat on the couch and just vent about the frustrations of being a Coyotes fan, or talk about the excitement of all these young kids and what could happen and who you want to see drafted at 8th overall, which could be pretty damn near anybody other than Hischier or Patrick. But we'll see. Maybe they move up. Maybe they trade up. Who do they trade to move up? Do they potentially go crazy, like Milbury crazy, and trade Chychrun, who they traded to get last year, and they trade him now to move up in the draft? Like, what do they do? So let me know what you guys think. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, and thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you all again soon.